How's it going, everybody? Your resident loon, SpecsN Stats here with another review. Today we went back in time to Spirit Tracks, the classic Zelda game. It was originally released for the DS in December of 2009 and later for the Wii U Virtual Console in October of 2016. Just as per usual, we're going to start with the cons. I like starting with the cons because it allows us to end on a good note. Probably the only really big, there were a couple, but one of the biggest issues that I found playing this game were the controls. Nintendo made the call to use only 2 of the 12 buttons that you have on a DS, or in my case, I used the gamepad. Instead, they chose to throw out all of them and replace them with, well, this little guy, the stylus. Basically, all the movement that you do is with the stylus, from combat to movement, menuing, action items, interaction, etc. All, again, with the stylus. It can be very rage-inducing. It caused a lot of really salty moments for me, for sure, and I got close to not finishing it a couple of times. I got close to rage quitting, I'm not gonna lie. But we saw through it, we finished it. It also can lead to some inaccurate inputs. It's really slow, it's tedious. It makes the game not nearly as enjoyable as it could be, as it definitely deserves to be. A lot of the aspects of the stylus movement I actually agree with. Overworld movement, you know, mapping stuff out. You can even like make notes on the map so you can like remember where stuff is and go back to it later. I like that. I really like that idea. There are a lot of moments where it made sense to use the stylus. However, I do wish that a lot of other basic movements such as walking, talking to people, attacking, using weapons and items and menuing, all that sort of stuff was done with the actual controls. The other thing that I didn't like was the music mechanic. They had a really classic music mechanic. The only problem is that you had to blow into the controller in order for it to work. And as you could probably have guessed, it didn't always work out very well, and I ended up out of breath quite often. I wish they would have had a button alternative where you could just press a button for it to play instead. I feel like that would have been a safe alternative, but leaving the blowing option for those who wanted to do it. The biggest pro for me was its story. It's probably one of the cutest, most heartwarming stories in any game that I have played. One of. The character development on this game was just off the charts, just absolutely fantastic. It made me laugh a lot. It was a very entertaining game. I teared up a little bit at the end. I'm not gonna lie, it's probably one of the best Zelda endings I have seen, if not the best Zelda ending I have ever seen. And I've seen a lot of Zelda endings. The relationship between Link and Zelda is the best that I have seen in any Zelda game. There's not a stronger relationship between Link and Zelda than the one in Spirit Tracks, in my opinion. Granted, I haven't played all of the Zelda games, all of the 2D games, but I have played quite a few of them. And for me, this one has the closest, most touching, and funnest relationship between Link and Zelda that you'll see in any game. The collectibles in this game were pretty fun. They weren't super trolly to where you were spending hours looking for that last one item. The overworld movement was super fun. It was really smooth in the beginning, and then it kind of slowed down at the end, but not so much as you were getting bored as you were doing stuff. You were still engaged. There was still stuff for you to do while you were over in the overworld, looking for stuff, interacting with enemies attacking you. So it was really fun, and it kept you on edge, and there were some suspenseful moments while we were in the overworld trying to get from place to place. The dungeons and the puzzles in that game were just phenomenal, absolutely fantastic. If it weren't for the stylus, it would be 10 out of 10 for me. But the fact that you had to navigate through the dungeons and puzzles that were very tricky and complex to solve with this guy, it made it a little bit harder. It made it a little bit more trolly than it had to have been. But we made it through, and I made it through despite my incompetence with this thing. So again, if you can overlook the bad stylus controls, or if you're just better at them than me, which is likely, there's not a single chance in hell that you aren't going to absolutely love this game. It's a classic. Again, it's available on the Nintendo DS and the Wii U Virtual Console. Highly recommended. One of the best Zelda games out there. Anyway, that's all from me, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and a subscribe. I hope that it has helped you decide on whether or not you want to purchase this game. Again, I recommend you trying it out. And I will see you guys on my next loony adventure.